Doug mentioned on the inside is Kyle Larson. On the outside is Ryan Blaney. Reddick right behind Larson inside row 2. And we'll see what kind of push that he makes. Everybody waving here in turn 4. We're ready for the restart at Indy.
All right, thank you very much, Chris Denary. The question is, will this be the last run through the Geico restart zone? The Chevy Camaro pace car is on pit road. Kyle Larson, the control car on the inside. Ryan Blaney on the outside. They hit the restart zone. Kyle Larson jumps early. Ryan Blaney tries to match him. Larson able to pull away from Tyler Reddick side by side for the lead into 1.
Ryan Blaney, though, is going to hang tough on the outside for Team Penske. They'll go door to door entering turn number 1, but Kyle Larson is too strong. Takes the race lead out of turn 1.
The big dog, Rick Hendrick, has unleashed the fast pump. Here comes Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick. We're going to P2. Ryan Blaney, P3, Christopher Bell in that 4th position. And we have a car spinning down low. He will hit the inside retaining wall. Keep it under control. They'll come back to a rest. We are still green going into 3.
And we got another car down in the grass here. As up front is Kyle Larson. The car in the grass is Chris Buescher. As up front is Kyle Larson.
Kyle Larson has about a 3-car length advantage on Tyler Reddick. Then another 4-car lengths back to Blaney. Larson has the lead out of 4.
Racing back down here to the yard of bricks, it's Kyle Larson by 6 car lengths over Tyler Reddick.
It was Ryan Priest, the car that crashed, but the white flag is out. Kyle Larson's advantage over Tyler Reddick. 4 car lengths out of turn 1 for the final time.
Ryan Priest is stuck on the inside of the back straightaway. His car has come to a rest, and we will throw a caution, and that will mean Kyle Larson potentially will win this Brickyard 400.
And that is going to do it. The next flag wins the race. Kyle Larson took the white flag as the race leader. Kyle Larson will win the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tyler Reddick drives up beside him to congratulate the race winner. Ryan Blaney, who actually stumbled on the restart, running in 3rd. Blaney does still have to make it back to the start-finish line to make sure he can secure that 3rd position. That's where he's running right now on the racetrack. Christopher Bell will finish 4th. Bubba Wallace will end up finishing 5th. And it looks like Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick are going to almost run side by side to the start-finish line and the yard of bricks as Kyle Larson takes the checkered flag at Indy.
Life hack number 7. Get an iPhone 12 on Straight Talk.
Life hack.
Here's how it works. You walk into Walmart, go to the electronics section, ask for iPhone 12 with 5G and a dual camera system, and select a new Silver Unlimited plan. They'll smile because it's a good plan. You get real unlimited data all for just $20 a month for the whole first year. Get it at Walmart or StraightTalk.com. Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Taxes and fees apply. Requires activation of iPhone 12 and a new Silver Unlimited plan or higher end auto pay enrollment. $25 a month service credit applied for up to 12 months if eligibility requirements are met. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
The Indianapolis Motor Speedway is home to some of the greatest moments in racing, and it's also home to PPG's paint and coatings. PPG products protect the Indianapolis Motor Speedway's track, walls, trams, tunnels, grandstands, and much more. When it comes to increasing durability and performance, PPG is here to protect and beautify anything with or without wheels. PPG is the official paint and finishing supplier of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
From the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this is the Brickyard 400.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business.
Yeah, 5 years!
It's 5 years of gig speed internet.
High five for gig speed!
5 years of advanced security.
Security where?
And 5 years of a great rate that won't change.
Our rate ain't changing.
All from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
There it is!
He hasn't given this many high fives since Deborah brought in her famous banana bread.
Woohoo!
Now he's got savings.
I'm so excited!
Yep. Dave's feeling it, but it's only for a limited time, so don't wait. Switch today and ask how to get the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee from Comcast Business. Powering 5 years of savings. Powering possibilities. Comcast Business.
And it's hurting, but I am not stopping. Woo!
Ends 8/21/24. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge for new customers on qualifying internet bundle, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Brickyard Weekend Coverage brought to you by the Indiana Union Construction Industry. 93.5 and 107.5. The Fan.
Took 167 laps, but we're over here at the Brickyard 400. And Kyle Larson grabs himself another crown jewel. Kyle Larson wins it. Tyler Reddick second. Ryan Blaney third. Chase Elliott comes home fourth and fifth. Great day here for Todd Gilliland. And Noah Gregson snuck up into the top 10 there at the end. He gets sixth. Seventh is Austin Cindric. Carson Hocevar is eighth. Bubba Wallace winds up ninth. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 10th. Some of the names we don't normally talk about running in the top 10 got in there today.
Yeah, that was a great thing to see for some of those drivers. And it wasn't just an opportunity to do that. It was actually really good driving, really good pit strategy, and all of that. And as the playoffs picture is concerned now, Doug Rice, Ross Chastain pretty much had his bubble lead over Bubba Wallace cut in half. He now is plus 12, leaving here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Chris Buescher took an even bigger hit, even though he is still 15th in the playoffs standings. He went from plus 45 to plus 21 as we head into the Olympics break after this race.
I don't want to throw dirt on Kyle Busch, but the only way he makes the playoffs now, I feel like he has to win.
I would agree. Minus 84 points. Let's hear from some of our top finishers and go down to pit road with Rob Blackman.
Over Todd Gilliland, it is his fourth top 10 of the year. This time he finishes fifth here at the Brickyard 400. Can you talk our listeners through just how hectic it was from a number of different scenarios, certainly fuel being a concern, those last two overtime sessions?
Yeah, fuel is definitely a huge concern for us, especially I think, our guys did a really good job, and our car wasn't 100% perfect, just a little bit tight on exit, but yeah, overall our car had decent speed, and we ended up getting the strategy right, kind of by messing it up earlier, kind of put us in a spot to, we're in the back and we're able to come get fuel and make it to the end there. So yeah, that's part of it, and we'll keep working forward.
A top five finish today for Todd Gilliland. Let's go to Rich Nye.
Ryan Blaney with a third place finish today. Ryan, first of all, tell me what it was like behind Keselowski, so many laps, and the fuel game you're playing, the fuel game he's playing, and what you had to do to get to the finish today.
We saved gas initially, and 6 wasn't going to make it. If it ran green, and then we had a caution, and they knew they weren't going to make it, and they stayed out anyway. And then I got screwed on the lineup and just gifted it to the 5. So happy it worked out for them.
How do you look at this day in terms of coming back on the oval and what NASCAR did in terms of the show?
The show was all right. The cars could be better. Just disappointed that we didn't win because I thought we had the car to do it pretty easy.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ron Blaney not happy with the way the events transpired late in this race today.
They transpired to the rule book. You shouldn't be, thinking that Kyle Larson was gifted something from NASCAR. He was actually gifted something from Brad Keselowski because Brad Keselowski came down pit road right before they were about to restart. Keselowski would have been the control car when he ran out of fuel. It did turn into Kyle Larson's favor. It also played out by the rule book.
Kyle Larson also got a great jump there on that last restart. That's really where the deal was sealed. Reddick never had a shot at him. Let's go back to Rob Blackman.
Tyler Reddick led the most laps of anyone today, but when it's all said and done, he will finish in second place. Tyler Reddick, talk us through not only that first overtime session, which got started off on such a poor foot, but that second overtime session, what you were able to do to make up ground there and push for the win.
Yeah, me and Kyle just, the first cars on that alternate strategy. We had the issue on pit road. I think he had some sort of an issue in the race as well that put him back there, and we just didn't have anything to lose. So it was a great effort by all of us to carve up through the field. Unfortunately, when Kyle got to me and passed me the way that he did, I wasn't expecting it. It was very creative, and just continued to catch the rest of the field off guard. So wish I would have could have seen that one coming and maybe defended that better. It was a great way to make a pass. Just unfortunately, it means we bring home our Beach Unleashed Toyota Camry second. But good points today. Obviously, we didn't score as many as the 5, but nonetheless, a fairly solid points today.
That's Tyler Reddick, a second place finish. As we now hear from the race winner, who's with Brett McMillan.
Boy, Kyle Larson, after the year you've had at Indianapolis, how does it feel to be standing here in this yard of bricks?
It's pretty amazing. The month of May was awesome, but didn't get to, complete the double, do the 500, and end up quite as good as I wanted to, but it was still a great experience. and then to come back and get to run the paint scheme that I didn't get to run at at Charlotte, and get to come here and win with it at the Brickyard 400. It just kind of all felt like it was meant to be today. So huge thank you to Hendrick Motorsports, the engine shop there, Hendrick, Chevrolet, HendrickCars.com, Valvoline, Ginya Ramen Bar, Prime, all of our great supporters and partners. This is pretty amazing to win here at the Brickyard. I can't believe it.
Yeah, when you came across the finish line, you said, this team never gives up. Strategies are all over the place. How good is this team behind you? Obviously, I'm going to be biased, but I believe they are the best. I think we prove a lot that, you can never hold us down. We always seem to recover, whether it be the next week, after a crash, or just during the race, we have a bad pit stop or a restart not go our way. We always fight, and you try and get the most out of our day. So super proud of our team. It was, as you mentioned, up and down with strategy, and I didn't really know where things were going to shake out for us. It was really hard to pass. But we were able to be on offense there with fuel and tires, and those top 15 or so were saving fuel, and I could just make late bombs and pass them. Felt a lot like an Indy car. So can't believe it. This is so cool. 30 years ago, Hendrick Motorsports got to celebrate at the first Brickyard. How does it feel to be celebrating with Hendrick Motorsports on the 30th anniversary?
Yeah, it's so cool, and to have Jeff Gordon here, who won it 30 years ago, as well as Rick Hendrick, who hasn't been here, I think, since Daytona to a NASCAR race. It just is so special. So I just feel like everything was meant to be today for us. So although it might not have looked that way in the first stage or second stage, it ended up just being our day. So just super proud of the team and everybody on board.
Here's your crew chief. Congratulations. 4th win of the year for Kyle Larson and his first win on the Brickyard Oval.
Thank you very much, Brett McMillan. That race-winning interview brought to you by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a soap opera star.
Gracious me, my car has storm damage and I've had to file a claim. Could it possibly get worse? Will my claims team leave me for someone else? Someone less intense?
No. Actually, when you file a claim with Geico, you get your own dedicated claims team who promises to stay with you throughout the process.
Oh, I've never known such loyalty. I can't wait for the second season.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, putting the wraps on what was really a fantastic race. Kyle Larson will be enjoying his victory lane trip after a burnout from fueling your favorite NASCAR teams to filling up the pump. Sunoco is trusted to help vehicles perform at their peak. Sunoco, performance is what we do. I think it's rather poignant. He was up here in May trying to win the Indianapolis 500. Didn't get to run that paint scheme in Charlotte because he didn't get to get in the race because they called it for rain before he was able to be a participant. Comes back. There's a lot of poetic justice in all of this, I feel like, for Kyle Larson. Not that he needs it. And he's also the biggest winner this year on the NASCAR circuit. 4 wins so far this season, and he's got 14 more shots to grab a few more trophies.
Jeff Hammond heading into a 2 weeks Olympics break. 4 races to go in the playoffs. For Kyle Larson and this team, do we believe in momentum? And this is what you need before you have a little vacation.
Well, you need a little bit of vacation to go with that momentum, because even being as good as they have been all year long, it's a grind. It's a grind for all these teams, and they've got an opportunity right now to recharge their batteries and dot the I's, cross the T's, and get ready for the stretch run of this season. Run to the regular season and then be ready for the playoffs. And their team, like Kyle Busch, they showed today they had a pretty fast race car. Things didn't go their way, but now they need to really focus on regrouping and figuring out where can we win. And let's go get a win somewhere so we can get ourselves into the playoffs. I mean, it's all about the playoffs right now.
All right, let's go down the finishing order for today's Brickyard 400. Kyle Larson wins it. Tyler Reddick second. Ryan Blaney third. Christopher Bell was 4th. Bubba Wallace, he likes this place, 5th place today. Todd Gilliland was 6th. 7th to Austin Cindric. Daniel Suarez, 8th. Noah Gregson, 9th. And Chase Elliott was 10th.
11th was Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 12th, Carson Hocevar. 13th was Austin Dillon. Corey LaJoie finished 14th. 15th was Ross Chastain. Michael McDowell, 16th. Zane Smith, 17th. 18th, Cody Ware. Ty Dillon finished 19th. And Justin Haley was 20th.
21st is Brad Keselowski. Chris Buescher, 22nd. 23rd, Ty Gibbs. Chase Briscoe, 24th. Kyle Busch, 25th. 26th to Ryan Preece. Martin Truex Jr. was 27th. 28th to Eric Jones. John Hunter Nemechek, 29th. Daniel Hemrick came home 30th.
And, of course, these last drivers out of the race early. 31st will go to Alex Bowman. Denny Hamlin gets 32nd. Jimmy Johnson, 33rd. 34th, Joey Logano. Josh Berry, 35th. Harrison Burton, 36th. A.J. Allmendinger, 37th. William Byron, 38th. And 39th, B.J. McLeod.
And that's your finishing order for the 28th running of the Brickyard 400. Jeff, great having you up here. Great insight today, and you turned out to be a bit of a prophet talking about restarts determining this race.
Well, sometimes you get a gut feeling kind of like how things are going to go, and today was kind of like one of those situations.
Brad Gilley, first time you and I have co-anchored a NASCAR Cup Series race. Not a bad place to do it at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
And a pretty exciting one, with all the cautions that we had, all the twists and turns along the way, and one heck of a double overtime finish here with Kyle Larson winning his first Brickyard 400.
Personal note, special thanks to everybody with the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Radio Network for letting me participate for 27 years in the stock car coverage up here at this fantastic racetrack. It has meant more to me than you will ever know. So thanks a lot to everybody that is tangentially connected with the IMS Radio Network. Thanks for letting me be a part of some fantastic scenes here. Thanks a lot for listening in today. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. We enjoyed bringing it to you. We'll let you know that coming up in the near future, NASCAR takes a 2-week break after today so the world can watch the 2024 Summer Olympics. They'll come back on August 11th at Richmond Raceway. Motor Racing Network will have the call. The PRN crew is off for a while. We don't come back on the air till September 7th and 8th at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's acknowledge all this great team up here today. The pit reporters were Rob Blackman, Brett McMillan, and Rich Nye. Out in the turns, Chris Denary, Doug Turnbull making his debut here at the Brickyard, Nick Yeoman and Michael Young. Justin Fortner and Bill Keys were the spotters today. Our transportation coordinator, Brian Livingston. Engineers, Rick Evans, Harold Hamrick, Paul Levitt, Jake Robinson. Production and our race day director, Laura Beth Barnhart, Eric Banton, and Kent Bernhardt. PRN sales and marketing team led by our GM Jerry Horn, backed up by Alexis Erickson, Jim Fickenshire, Hank Lee, Barry Roach, David Stile, Caleb Whistler. IMS Radio Network Director is Chris Pollock. IMS Radio Executive Producer, Kevin Sublick. For Jeff Hammond, Brad Gilley, I'm Doug Rice. Congratulations to Kyle Larson, and good night from Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The Brickyard 400, presented by PPG on the IMS Radio Network, was presented by State Water Heaters. When you need a water heater, make sure you get a State. Visit statewaterheaters.com to find a professional installer near you. By Progressive Insurance. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at progressive.com. O'Reilly Auto Parts, your professional parts people. Hunt Brothers Pizza. Find your next pizza at huntbrotherspizza.com. By Toyota. For the latest Toyota racing information, visit toyotaracing.com. Sunoco. From NASCAR to your car, Sunoco Fuel helps your car reach peak performance. Brought to you by Rheem. Rheem keeps you comfortable with world-class, high-efficiency heating, cooling, and water heating solutions. Visit Rheem.com to learn more. Brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Miller Lite. Miller Lite is proud to be the official beer partner of the Brickyard. Tastes like Miller time. Hinchman Racing Uniforms. Nothing fits like a Hinchman. By Advance Auto Parts, official aftermarket automotive parts retail partner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brought to you by Geico. Geico's mobile app has 24/7 claim service and on-the-go policy info. Get more with Geico. General Motors, official car of the Brickyard and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. By Napa. Elevate your engine performance with Napa Full Synthetic Engine Oil. And presented by Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, where you always get a lot for not a lot. This is the IMS Radio Network.
Hey there, it's Maria Moore, host of the Mind, Body, and Business podcast, where we talk fitness, habit change, and self-improvement. I am especially excited about my recent goal-setting series, where I take you through the 3 A's of accomplishment: assessing your starting point, taking action, and lastly, holding yourself accountable. Whether you want to lose weight, get out of debt, strengthen family bonds, whatever your goal may be, I'm breaking down the strategies to get it done. Check out the Triple A series along with other empowering conversations on the Mind, Body, and Business podcast with me, Maria Moore, available wherever you stream your podcasts and at urban1podcast.com.
Hey race fans, this is Tim Wicker from Electric Plus. When you're looking for an electrical contractor to take care of your next construction project, facility upgrade, or simple maintenance work, make sure you call Electric Plus to give you a professional and top quality project with the best team members in the industry. Just like race car drivers desire to be the best, the mission of Electric Plus is to be the best electrical contractor, period. Visit our website at electricplus.com to see how we can take care of your electrical needs.
You forget something?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to pick up Braden tonight after practice.
Oh, did something come up at work?
Nah, not even going to make it in today.
Why? What's going on?
Well, I'm coming up on some construction in about a quarter mile. I've already started ignoring the signs. In a minute, I'll force my way through traffic while texting. I'll pull the wheel a little too far and drive right through the barrels where I'm going to hit a few workers. One of them is going to get killed, so then I'm going to be arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No one plans on having an accident, but you can plan to avoid one. Read the signs. Slow down. Stay alert.
This is Kelly Watson, business manager of Labor's Local 1112. Everyone deserves a safe place to work.
Such as PayPal,
do your
Apple
part in the
Pay,
cone zone. Slow down,
in summary,
save a life.
payments.
We're all
Seems
in this
to be a
together.
payment issue that arises
message from
primarily
Indiana's
with
District
card
Council
payments.
of Laborers
Potential
International Union
solutions
of North
include
America and
retrying the
affiliated
transaction,
locals.
checking bank messages,
107.5 The Fan
disabled-
and Franciscan Health present Good for the Heart Fridays. Listen to Jake Query every Friday to hear a heartwarming story from our local community. Jake knows firsthand the importance of heart health. Jake and the Fan have teamed up with Franciscan Health to make a difference, one beat at a time. Good for the Heart Fridays, brought to you by Franciscan Health Heart Center. Learn proactive measures to keep your heart healthy and schedule your heart scan at franciscanhealth.org/screening bundles.
Brickyard Weekend coverage is brought to you by the Indiana Union Construction Industry. Skilled on principle, union by choice. Live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, here's Greg Rakestraw and John Herrick.
Kurt Darling alongside as well. We get to have the final word of a full 7 hours of Brickyard coverage on this Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. Kyle Larson. May went well for him until Mother Nature on the final day of his quest to run both the Indianapolis 500, the Coca-Cola 600. Well, he got a little bit of a kiss of fate in today's contest. On one of the final restarts of the race, Brad Keselowski runs out of fuel. Kyle Larson moves forward. There's another restart that happens. He gets to be in the lead. He then leads the field around to the final lap, and he is a Brickyard 400 winner for the first time. There have been 28 Brickyard 400s run. 11 of them have been won by a Hendrick Motorsports car. 5 by Jeff Gordon, 4 by Jimmy Johnson, 1 by Casey Kane in 2017, and in 2024, our first oval race for the NASCAR Cup cars since 2020. Kyle Larson is your winner. Greg Rakestraw, John Herrick, Kurt Darling again. We'll keep it because of the length of the race, just about an additional 15 minutes or so here on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan. John, your thoughts of the Brickyard 417 and a half that we saw unfold here this afternoon.
Well, with the story of Kyle Larson being the opportunity that he was denied in May at both Indianapolis and Charlotte, and then he has to battle through so much adversity. I mean, he starts fifth, but then he drops throughout the race. There's so many pit cycles that happen, but then for him to stick with it, and it looked like he was going to have problems with his starter before one of those, I think that final restart, yet he's able to get out in front and make it happen, get his 4th win of the season and his 27th Cup Series win of his career. He's just been the model of consistency in so many races like we talked about in our pre-race show. He loves to try to race whatever he can. The man just loves racing, which is why he's so beloved by the fans. And on a day where nothing came easy for anybody and everybody seemed like they had to fight for everything, including the man who finished behind him in second, and Tyler Reddick, who had to go, he dropped all the way back, and then he had to come all the way back up to the front and almost won it himself. So congrats to Kyle on a very fortuitous day for him and a day where he really made it happen.
Kurt, your thoughts again. Maybe this hasn't been the case as much when we're into the road course, but if you go to the ovals, it is absolutely best of the best, cream of the crop, those that rise to the top. And Kyle Larson would be of that ilk in terms of oval track winners here at 16th and Georgetown in the stock car.
It's certainly a sense of poetic justice, as you guys alluded to, about how the month of May just did not go well and Mother Nature didn't cooperate, but Mother Nature has certainly cooperated here today. It was a beautiful day for this race, and for a lot of fans, it was a great crowd on hand as well. But Kyle Larson in particular, coming back here, getting to get the win that he was craving on and getting to kiss the yard of bricks, and hopefully he's able to at least try and do the double again next year. It certainly looks like the stocks are optimistic about that based on what we were seeing talked about on NBC. But from the season perspective here for Kyle Larson, it's huge because not only is this his 4th win of the season, it adds to his stockpile of playoff points that he already has in his bank now, but also this puts him in the lead for the regular season championship. He overtakes his teammate Chase Elliott in that regard. He now has a 10-point advantage, and he gets to sit on that for the next few weeks before they go to Richmond. Kyle Larson's in a really good spot, not only to obviously get his big win today, but and then also get a championship possibly later on this year.
Obviously, it is massive for Kyle Larson, but one of the last things we talked about before he handed it over to the PRN and IMS Radio Network crew guys a little more than 5 hours ago, basically was, what was going to make this a memorable, worthwhile Sunday afternoon for the fans. Again, was it a vintage Brickyard 400 crowd? No. Was it better than the ones we have seen in recent years? Yes. And so kind of putting aside whether your favorite driver won this race or not, Kurt, on this I'll start with you. Did fans get their money's worth this afternoon?
Oh, they totally got their money's worth. Now, I will say this. The racing in the middle of the race was a little, lackluster, I would say, for lack of a better phrase. But keep in mind, that's typically what you get in a race that's like this here.
That's a 400 or 500 mile
exactly.
race. That's the nature of it.
Exactly. So you have to let strategies play out. You have to let the drivers feel things out for how they put themselves in a position for the last 20 laps. You get hard racing for the first 20 laps, then you kind of settle into things in for the next big stint, and then the final 20 laps are where you get it. And there was hard racing to the end. It was dramatic toward the end, especially with the fuel savings and the fuel strategies that were playing out as well. And then at the very end, this is what this race needed. It needed Kyle Larson or a big storyline that relates to Indianapolis fans in particular from what happened with the month of May. Now coming back here for the Brickyard here in July, it's a cherry on top to what I think will be somewhat of a revival for the race going forward.
John, again, did the fans get their money's worth this afternoon?
I think they definitely did. I mean, you hear some fans talk about, I like to go out during the race and talk to some of them, and some of them are frustrated with some of the cautions and the restarts, but here's the thing. Once the restarts are done and once the green flag drops, that's where the drama kicks into high gear, and you get entertainment all the way through that, and you get to see who's able to come out on top. And for Kyle Larson to be able to do that, like Kurt said, a guy that everybody identifies with because of all of the adversity he had to deal with in May, it's definitely a great thing. I know not everybody probably stayed to watch because the race got long at the end, but for those who did stay, you can see how excited they are and how they want to go greet Kyle Larson, get autographs, and clap for him because it's a great atmosphere.
I'm not sure if this would be of the ilk of cautions breed. Cautions, but we had enough yellow flags and enough incidents where enough race cars were collected today that teams are happy they have a 3-week break after this. This wasn't big one levels of Talladega or Daytona, but it was close. But it was enough yellows and kind of broken up in enough chunks where it put a lot of different drivers on different strategies. And that kept it interesting. What it also did is it kind of shuffled the deck to have some surprise kind of permutations and combinations at the end. Nobody expected Brad Keselowski really to compete for the win today. And while from a finishing standpoint, he really didn't, he clearly played a big role in today's race. But you had a name like Zane Smith, not the former Indiana State Sycamore that pitched for many years in Major League Baseball, but Zane Smith that drives the number 71 machine for Spire Motorsports, who had a legitimate shot at the end to win. What that also did, John, because you had the mixture of guys that were saving fuel and guys that were going for it, it led to the ability for Kyle Larson to seemingly pick off a driver about every 3 or 4 laps, the last 15, 20 laps. And again, it made for great theater. So I'll agree with the both of you. This was time well spent on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, on the Brad Keselowski front, too, you and all three of us up here and all the fans out there were going, is he really going to do this? Does he honestly have enough fuel? And we kept thinking, no. But then all of a sudden at the very end with 2 laps to go, he's got to bow out because he runs out. So that adds to the high drama. But I don't blame Keselowski for doing that because he's 8th in the point standings, and you want to stay as far away from 16th as you can so you don't have to worry about being on the bubble. So I get why Keselowski tried to ride it out. But you're right. The fact that the drama of that and then the drama of, okay, Larson or one of the other guys or Reddick can make a pass here and then make it interesting if Keselowski runs out of fuel, which he ultimately did.
Keselowski went 56 laps without stopping. 56 laps. That's an immense distance, especially around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, for a fully aspirated engine, mind you. This isn't an IndyCar hybrid. It is a gas-guzzling machine, and the fact that he was able to make his car last 56 laps and a caution lap before going to the green, it's certainly admirable for Brad Keselowski.
In terms of those of note that were collected in incidents today, William Byron finished 38th. He was one of the first cars out of the race. B.J. McLeod was first after his 14 laps. Byron did not see lap 70. The winner in 2021 on the road course, A.J. Allmendinger, he was out early in the race. Josh Berry, who was notable because of the person that was on the hood of his car, that being Caitlin Clark, he was collected in an incident. Joey Logano finishes 34th. He had an incident. Same with Jimmy Johnson, who was able to at least kind of soldier on for a few more laps, but really his race was done. And a driver that played a big part in today's race, but you wouldn't know it by the scorebook at the end of it. Denny Hamlin finishes 32nd in today's race, but Hamlin was a key factor during the course of today's race.
Yeah, and he's got very good finishes at throughout his career at all of the upcoming tracks that they're going to be on as they try to finish out the regular season and fight for positioning. So he's got that in his back pocket. But you're right, he was in the top 10 and then in the top 5 and was a huge factor for most of it. But then late incidents in this race really affected a lot of drivers. And for him, he was unfortunately one of them.
Martin Truex Jr. was in a couple of different incidents today. And again, that is of note because this, we think, is his last Brickyard 400 again. He's going to run potentially a partial schedule in years going forward, but not sure if he is going to be here or not. Frankly, John Hunter Nemechek is not a name we talk about a lot in Cup circles. He was more of a factor today, but he had a scary late incident as he and Daniel Hemrick, who again really had a good day until the end, they collided, and that's part of what we had a red flag situation for, because frankly, the end of the pit lane barrier going into turn 1 was knocked sideways by the impact of the 42 and 31 cars, and that's what gave us kind of our late race delay. Kyle Busch ends up finishing 25th. To be blunt, he was far more of a factor in this race. Again, a 2-time winner, but a year where he and the RCR number 8 car have struggled. Frankly, Busch was racy today. It's not reflected in his finish. He finishes 25th the lap down.
And he certainly made it a valiant effort. He was able to lead a couple laps in, but the biggest impact, in my opinion, that Kyle Busch had on this race was that last caution that he brought out that actually impacted the strategy for Brad Keselowski at the end. But that put aside, you have to admire Kyle Busch's ability to navigate around this track and put himself in a position using the stage brakes, using the cautions to put himself in a right spot to at least be a factor, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for him today.
So Kyle Larson is your winner. Tyler Reddick finishes second. Ryan Blaney again in third. Christopher Bell 4th, Bubba Wallace in 5th, Ty Gill in 6th. Another guy that we need to talk about in terms of kind of how, fate benefits him. And again, it was disappointing coming into the race because of his ties to the place. He's got a win in hand. So this wasn't calamity corner from a playoff standpoint. Austin Cindric started 38th, finishes 7th today. Not bad for the kid that has so many ties to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
I'll tell you what, after the day that Team Penske had at Toronto today, I would say that Austin Cindric finishing 7th and Ryan Blaney finishing 3rd. That is an admirable and a pretty good cherry on top for the day for all of Team Penske. So certainly a good performance there from Austin Cindric.
Simply put, arrows pointing up for the Brickyard 400 after today, correct?
I would say so.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good fanfare about it. The weather helped. It was a great race, and the fans are definitely going home happy.
Again, Kyle Larson, a deserving winner of the Brickyard 400. And, fellas, I think the way to wrap this up as time gets away from us quickly after a race of this ilk, I think there's a very good chance in next year's Indianapolis 500 we have the defending 500 winner and the defending 400 winner. I think that's a pretty cool scenario.
Yes, it is. Can't wait for it.
That would certainly be something fun to watch.
Guys, a pleasure spending the weekend with you. Thank you so much.
Likewise.
For Kurt Darling, for John Herrick, and for Nathaniel Finch, Scott Johnston, and all the engineering folks behind the scenes, this is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for listening to us all weekend long here on The Fan.
From the DriveHubler.com studios, this is 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan.
WIBC HD2, HD3, Indianapolis.